Hi, my name is Drew and I'm a dual degree student in political science and business at Western University, and I'm here to talk a little bit about my experience. So I chose Western University because from the second I arrived on campus, I got the sense that it was a student experience oriented place. And what that means is there was a beautiful, green campus, lovely buildings, students throwing frisbees. Everyone was talking about what they were gonna do later, who they were gonna study with, when the club meeting was. It was a place where everyone was encouraged to get involved and be a part of that Western pride, very quintessential university vibes, and I loved that. So if that's something that you think you'd be interested in, I'd highly recommend coming here. Now, my program is dual degree program, meaning that I applied to Western University for political science. And then in my second year, I applied to the Ivey Business School, where in third year, I started full time. And then for my third, fourth, and fifth year, I was able to start that business program full time, as well as complete my political science degree. So in 5 years, I'll have a dual degree with political science and business. That really fit my goals because I was very interested in politics and social science when I was in high school, but I kind of thought I wanted to do a career in business, but I wasn't sure if I would love learning about business in school. So essentially I was confused. I wanted to be able to do both, and Western really allowed me to do that by going to the Ivey Business School as well. The culture, as I said, at Western is very inclusive. And now Ivey, being a separate school, does have a little bit of a different culture. It's a little bit more competitive, I would say, at the beginning, but quickly you form a very, very close community because all of the students are taking similar courses, you do have a separate building, and you make some really incredible friends, and the profs are extremely supportive. So I would say that the cultures allow you to get heavily involved in both schools, and it's a great feeling. So Western and political science has a more traditional university experience. So a prof will give a lecture at the front of the room, they'll teach a material, you'll take notes, and those notes will be supplemented with readings, especially in political science. And then typically you write essays as well as do exams that may include long answer, short answer, multiple choice, or written essays for your marking. Ivey has a very unique teaching style that's used by, I believe, only one other school, Harvard. So they use the case method. So when you go to Ivey, a prof will not give a lecture at the front of the room. Instead, you'll be given cases. So it might be a marketing case where you get all of the information about a company, a bunch of information about what the problem is, and then you go to class the next day and the prof will ask guiding questions. And it's up to the students to put up their hands and answer those questions. And as the prof guides the lecture, you're able to take notes and get takeaways as to what the correct solution was. And those are the learnings you'll take to your exams. So it's a very unique learning style, but it's very hands-on and kind of real world, mimicking. And I really loved that. It really worked for my learning style. It's really collaborative and hands-on. And so that was great. Now, Ivey is great for any kind of learning style. Like I said, this case method is very unique to Ivey, and you don't have to be a public speaker to be able to go to Ivey and have to put your hand up and answer questions. However, it is very collaborative and hands-on, and they do use high-pressure situations like the infamous 48-hour reports to evaluate students instead of traditional exams sometimes. So for example, a 48-hour report is you get a case, which is a business problem, you get a group, and you as a group have 48 hours to write a report that will solve the problem. So that's something to me that's really engaging because I would prefer that to a traditional multiple choice exam. Political science covers a wide range of content. There's tons of different courses that you can choose from that'll drastically change your main focus of study. But in general, you'll talk about government structures, what is a democratic government versus a fascist government. You'll also talk about theory a lot. So where do these forms of government come from? What theories back them up? There's a lot of history. There's also focus on policy, focus on political parties, a wide range, as I said, of subject matter you can study. In business, there's again a wide range, but at the Ivey Business School, there's always opportunity to focus on what you want to be your area of study after your third year or your first year in the program. So in third year, everyone has to take one course from pretty much every subject matter. So you're gonna take a finance course, you're gonna take a marketing course, you're gonna take an accounting course, you learn it all. And then in your final year of Ivey, you're able to specialize. So if you like marketing or if you like finance, you can do that. For political science, the Western application is pretty standard. I believe you had to have about a 75 or maybe high 70s as a minimum to expect to get in, but of course that does change. So do check the admission requirements and do some research online first. And I believe the questions to apply to the program were quite basic. There was no essay component or anything like that. Now for Ivey, there's a very unique application process. Either you can apply in your grade 12 year to achieve AEO status, and what that is it means as long as you maintain an 80% throughout your first and second year of university with extracurriculars, you're guaranteed to be able to start Ivey in your third year. If you don't get AEO or you don't apply to AEO like me, no problem. You can apply to Ivey in your second year and you can be admitted into the program. Now, I applied in my second year into Ivey. I had a lot of extracurricular involvement. I had an 85% average throughout my first and second year, and I did get in, but it changes every single year. I would typically say an application average to get in should be about 85 or maybe even higher. However, they do weigh your grades 50-50 with your extracurriculars. So having a diverse range of extracurriculars, either from high school or from your first 2 years of university, is extremely important. I would say in your extracurriculars, do focus on having a diversity of programming in there. So if you're an athlete, that's fantastic, but maybe try to volunteer or get involved in an academic program at your school or do theater like me. Anything you're interested in, but don't, bucket yourself into one thing. They want to see how that helped you develop as a leader and as a person. And definitely focus on talking about your personal development in your application. That's much more interesting than just listing all your accomplishments. Really, I can't say this because course selection is completely dependent on your interests. I would say for every course that you're interested in taking, read the basic description, decide if it's something you want to take. And if you think it is, you should look up the syllabus. Typically they're posted from previous years and they don't change that much. Look up the prof teaching it or ask upper years about the prof because you want to make sure that that's someone you think would be able to provide you the learning experience you want. And then of course, try to plan your schedule early. It's always a difficult process, especially if you're like me and you're in a dual degree program trying to balance business and political science courses. So get on it early and of course take courses that you're interested in above courses you think might be easy. It's always easier if you like the material. So throw away that idea of an easy course and instead go for courses that you would find really engaging. Often students use an undergraduate degree in political science to put them into a master's program in maybe international affairs, or they might go into policy or research. Maybe they're going to law school. They might want to work in government. There's lots of opportunity. Whereas in business, of course, you could do anything. You could be an entrepreneur, you could work for a large corporation, you could be a part of a nonprofit. There's also a wide range of jobs that comes out of that. I lived in residence in first year in MedSyd. It was a really fun time. It forced me to be outside my comfort zone, be constantly surrounded by people. We always had plans and events going on, but for me, that was excellent. It was really fun and made me step out of my comfort zone and really make lifelong friends. I also pursued the things I was interested in. I love theater, so I immediately got involved in Theater Western, which is completely outside my degree, but I was still able to be a part of shows and pursue that thing that I loved. I also got involved in student government because I love government. There's pretty much an opportunity here for anyone who could want it in any form of interest, but please put yourself out there and get involved, especially in your first year, because that'll let you grow and maintain these relationships throughout your university degree. And it's always good to have friends in different years. Now, Western does have a reputation for being a party school. And well, yes, we do like to party, and yes, there's ample opportunity to party if that's something you like to do. Definitely don't, write this school off if you're not someone who likes to party. There's a ton of alternative programming. There's a lot of options to get involved that have nothing to do with going to a bar or going to a party. At Ivey, the culture can be quite intense at first. I found that going into Ivey, it seemed like everyone was obsessed with business or obsessed with finance and had really big goals for their future that I wasn't sure what I wanted to do yet, and I wasn't sure if I was going to succeed, but that wasn't true. The Ivey culture, because the school is smaller, it's about 600 kids per year, you quickly develop friends. Everyone has a different skill set. Everyone has different interests. And as long as you feel secure in yourself and you stick to what you like and what you know, it's a great place to pursue the things you love. So I'm from Alberta, I'm not from Ontario, so there's obviously lots of students from all over Canada as well as international students, which is fantastic, especially for me in political science. It really adds a lot to the conversation when people have experience with different forms of government or different areas of the world. And of course, in talking about actively including different minority groups and ensuring there's support systems for students of all kinds, student support groups like Ally Western for the LGBTQ+ community or different ethnocultural groups are so important for promoting a diverse and inclusive culture at Western. I think so many students put in incredible work to hold the school and faculty and students accountable, ensuring that this is a place where racism is not tolerated, any form of hate or exclusion is not tolerated here. And especially recently, they've put in anti-racism working groups to ensure that this is an extremely safe place for all students. And that's something that I, as a student leader in student government, have really been working toward as well. So I would say the students here are driving so much change, and this is a safe and welcoming school, but there's always more work to be done. There's also lots of resources. There's resources such as writing help support, which you can literally just go get your essay edited for free with a student beside you. There's also therapy on campus. There's physio or chiropractics on campus. There's doctors. There's also LGBTQ+ support groups. There's mental health support groups. There's medical benefits, dental benefits. So there are lots of support and resources, and I would say the best thing you can do is utilize them. Go see a peer support student. Make friends that are upper years that can get you involved in these clubs. There's no reason that if you need something, you shouldn't be able to get it here. And if you can't, then take it to your student representatives because they should change that. Starting this dual degree program, I felt nervous that I wouldn't be able to achieve what I wanted to. What if I got bad grades? What if I made the wrong choice and I am not where I belong? And I would say to that is just take it one day at a time and don't sweat the small stuff. Everything will work out here. There's opportunity to drop a class and take a different one. There's opportunity to get a bad mark and make it up, or just get a bad mark. It's okay, it happens to everyone. So enjoy, feel confident in yourself first and foremost, and focus on your mental health and your experience first, not the small stuff. So I think that covers all that I had to say. Thank you so much, and I hope wherever you choose to go and whatever you choose to do, you enjoy it, you will be phenomenal. Thanks.